When I wanted to be creative, I was like 26 years old. Nobody wanted to give me an opportunity to really show the creative side of me, of what I could do for my company Astro at that point in time.
Jin Lim, widely known as JinnyboyTV, began his career as a radio DJ before pioneering as a local YouTube content creator in 2012.
Hey, I'm Ruben. Hi, I'm Jin.
He quickly gained massive fame for his viral short films and sketches, a success that led to him earning multiple prestigious awards ranging from Influencer of the Year to Malaysia's most popular YouTube channel over the years.
I don't think I want to declare myself like as the 1% in whatever we're doing.
From my perspective, you are actually a legend. Building on that success, Jin founded Aspect Ratio Studios in 2020. As CEO, he now leads this creative production house and social media agency, producing engaging commercials, branded content, as well as managing a fleet of popular and beloved local talents such as Joe Broseph, Arvind Kumar, and so many more.
I lost my equipment. I've broken my equipment. I've done losing money. I've done making money. So you have to know every single thing.
In this episode, we dive into the creative playbook behind his biggest hits on YouTube, the business strategy that scaled Aspect Ratio Studios, and the financial mindset that guides his investments along the year.
That was when my wife came in. She used to work in Universal Music. She wanted to build me. She was building me like how she built her singers when she was working in Universal Music.
Whether you are an aspiring creator, an entrepreneur, or just looking to move up, this episode will give you insights into the creative process, the business of viral content, and the strategies behind building a successful media empire.
The practice of trying to make videos for the past 7 years before hitting my 100,000 views was what people kind of leave out.
Jin, what was the inspiration behind JinnyboyTV?
I wouldn't say that I set out to start a YouTube channel and stuff like that. I think when in my career in radio, where I think cameras were kind of evolving into video cameras as well, but when they evolved into the whole digital space, which kind of allowed you to take videos, in my line of work, I met a lot of celebrities. So I kind of just took the camera everywhere I went to film my interviews with celebrities, you know, and kind of post them on YouTube. But when like the company kind of said that, hey, you know what, you kind of can't do this because like, you know, it's company policy that, you know, you're kind of using your line of work, which belongs to the company, to kind of benefit yourself. So they took back that whole, I mean, not that they took back, but they started their own video team to do whatever I was doing. And I think I wasn't allowed to film myself doing interviews, but I had a team following me, but it was mainly for the company. So I kind of bought a camera after that. It was like a 5D Mark I because I was watching a kind of like a documentary of Namwi. Namwi was doing a film called Nasi Lemak 1.0.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the whole entire film was shot on a 5D Mark I. It was a Canon camera, and Canon at that time was like, you know, the kind of like the holy grail of all video makers. So, you know, you could use the 5D Mark I for cinema and stuff like that. So I bought that.
Science.
Yeah, the color science or the fact that, you know, it was really good. It was a full frame camera. So I wanted that camera because obviously, you know, everybody wants like the hottest camera. I bought that camera with probably my savings, and my wife who was my girlfriend then, bought me a 50mm lens because I spent all my money on the freaking body, but I had no money to buy a freaking lens. And then my mom was like, huh? You spent almost 10 grand on a camera.
Back then, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you're gonna use it for a while, then put it in a shelf. I said, I'll prove it to you. I kind of like wrote a script and I went out to shoot a film. I was shooting photos already. I love doing photography, but
Film,
I just
from the get-go.
Not film. Like, you know, it was a digital camera. It was a 5D Mark I. So I was doing photography already, but I decided to write a script. I went out, shot it, edited it myself, uploaded it on YouTube. It meant to be kind of like a one-off project, just to like, I'll show you, you know, I'm making the best use out of this camera, and the video blew up. It wasn't the intention to start a YouTube channel, to be honest. The goal was to, okay, I'm going to use this camera to do part-time photography as a side income. And I would probably do like, you know, video coverage, wedding videography, because wedding videography back then, it was like, you know, a weekend, 5 grand. It's like if you did 4 weekends, it's 20 grand. And it'd be like, yes, you know?
But who would pay like a total amateur, have no experience to do that?
Exactly.
Right.
That's why I charge only 1/10 of the price, $500.
Fair.
Yeah, but you
Okay.
get a 5D Mark I.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
value.
and you know that you use for cinema. So I didn't get to that, to be honest. I didn't even start doing videography for weddings or event. I did event photography for a while, but that was with a different camera. When the video blew up, I was like, oh, this is something different. And that's where I was like, oh, this is just like, is this gonna be like Wong Fu? I grew up watching Wong Fu. Like, oh, can I be like them? Can I do that? No one's doing it here in Malaysia. I was like, okay, never mind. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. There was no plan to do a second video, but because the video blew up to about 100,000 views, then 500,000 views, then for me it's like, okay, I need to do another one and see whether that was just a fluke shot. When I did the second video, it hit 100,000 views as well, and then for me it's like, okay, cool. I think I need to get into this and see whether I could kind of monetize this.
This was all while the DJ career is still going on.
Yeah, it was. This was in 2011. 2012 was when I uploaded the first video, and then in 2012 itself, I was experimenting. I didn't monetize it. Then after that, when I realized, okay, you know what? I think I'm going to monetize this. But when I really focused into it was after I left radio, and I focused on the whole channel, trying to grow it, trying to build a business around it. And then I think that's where it began. I think everything just started organically. There was no inspiration in building the YouTube channel, to be honest. The only reason why I built the YouTube channel was to sort of market myself, because we were doing radio. And radio back then, they only focused on the morning show and the drive show.
Yep.
So the morning show back then, when I was in radio, I think it was JJ and Rudy. So they were the biggest duo in the whole country. And a lot of advertisers would be spending most of their advertising money on the morning show and on the drive show. So I was doing like the in-betweens.
Yep.
So, when it comes to advertising your biggest assets of the company, they will obviously, put a lot of advertising on the two shows that makes the most money. So I guess starting a YouTube channel was just kind of my own initiative to put up my own work, to show people that, hey, I could host, I could interview people, and then, radio DJs, apart from just playing the same song 400 times an hour, we do side, we earn from side gigs, like hosting events, launches, prom nights, and mall events and stuff like that. So that channel was supposed to be that, but it evolved to become.
Okay, it's a lot of radio content back then.
Yeah, so if you watch the channel, the first 5 to 6 videos were all interview videos, and I just kind of told some friends hey, can I pinjam your camera? I just put multi cameras. You have like a lot of cameras right now, so this was a luxury. Right now, the amount of how many cameras do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 cameras. I had 3. 3 was a luxury to me. I said, okay, what do you want 3 cameras for? I want to do multi-cam editing. Yeah, so every time I had a guest in the studio, I would set up 3 cameras, a wide and a close-up for both me and my guest. And and once the show's done, I will edit it and I'll put it up on YouTube. So that's why what you saw was the initial growth. It were all interviews. I was interviewing YouTubers. I was interviewing JS Lee, Far East Movement. We did with Kina Granis and a few other people as well. Cal Patrick from the Click 5. I'm not sure if you know the Click 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, I recorded those interviews and then I put it up on YouTube on my channel. And then, it did well. Because people kind of, when they listen to radio, they want to see who I'm talking to, right? They want to know whether I'm really talking to that person or it's just a voice recording that we got off YouTube and played it on the radio. Yeah. So that was the whole motivation behind that initially.
How was the transition? I mean, there must be at some point where you realize, hey, maybe this career is better. What was the trigger and how do you prepare for that? Or was it the revenue there is more stable, then I'll just go for YouTube?
Oof. I think when I first started, the revenue wasn't great because I didn't know how to monetize. I knew that we could monetize it, but I think I just didn't know how to monetize it yet. I mean, radio was paying me okay, not great. But I think the trigger that kind of made me or kind of pushed me to leave radio was when I realized that, I can actually make more than what I'm earning in radio. And if I put in more effort and show up to work on a daily basis for my YouTube channel, maybe I can make more money. So back then I didn't have the answers. It's more of okay, let's just try.
Right.
But
was it easy?
Oh no, it's not easy. I think my first brand deal was a brand, a university paid me maybe 15,000 to make a video, and I was like, yes, I've got 15 grand. Then after paying everybody, we made 500 ringgit, and I'm like, crap, this sucks, Then that's where I needed to kind of understand how to price whatever I was doing and how to justify whatever I was charging. Because like, you know, when you go up to a client back then, it's like, oh, I want to charge 15,000 for a video, because you priced it based on what the first client paid for, right? Then you go to the next client, 15, and the client will be, so expensive. Oh, okay, negotiable. You know, you tend to always want to seem flexible because you want to close the deal. But the truth of the matter is, even the client doesn't know what to pay for a video like that. So it was very much the wild, wild west at that point of time. So what I was doing was trying to understand, you know, the sweet spot of trying to charge.
That's where the business end of the YouTube creative channel comes in, right? That's where you start to learn the business side of things.
Yeah. To be honest, my first hire was not really from brand deals. My first start was taken from our merchandise sales, where we made a t-shirt called an Abuden t-shirt, and then we sold it. And the profits from there just came to hiring my first staff. Like I never took when we first started, I think I never took a salary from the company. It was literally use everything back into the use everything to build your videos, reinvest it back in the company, and at the end of the year, pay ourselves dividends. Because like, you know, the accountant's like, oh, you know that dividends don't need to pay tax. I was like, yeah, I don't want to pay taxes, you know? Then, you know, that forced me to understand, why do people start a Sdn Bhd? What should you charge to the company? Why should you use your company to kind of build your expenses to, stuff like that. So
how long did it took you to scale up the channel? Because I think back then YouTube wasn't really mainstream thing in this region, right?
Yeah.
Was it easy back then to like scale that, or what kind of challenges that face while scaling that YouTube channel?
I think like when we watched all the American YouTubers or the YouTubers from America having a big team and stuff like that, they made it look so easy. And it's like, they hardly do brand deals, right? And they said that the goal is to make advertising revenue from the pre-roll ads that kind of show up on your channel. But you got to understand that these guys are like, you know, making videos that hit like 20, 30 million views. And then if you times that with the cost per reach, they're making a lot of money. So the thing is, yeah, we were making videos that are hitting like 1 million, 2 million. For an individual, I think it's okay in terms of their AdSense revenue, but to
actually very strong in Malaysia, 1 million views.
Back then.
Back then.
So I think like 1 million views back then could get you easily about maybe 15 to 20,000 ringgit around there. But it really depends. It really depends where your eyeballs are from. If your eyeballs are from America, if it goes viral, then yeah. Google explained this to me once, where it depends where your eyeballs are from.
Cost per mil.
Yeah. So if your eyeballs are from Australia, it could be like $7 per 1,000 views. But if it's in Malaysia, it could be like $3 USD per 1,000 views. And if it's in maybe Thailand, it could be less.
Yeah.
So, you know, it wasn't very constant, but for me, the goal wasn't to just rely on the AdSense revenue. The AdSense revenue was more like, okay, it's a bonus. All right. At the end of the year, the AdSense revenue, it's a bonus, because to be honest, all the AdSense revenue that came into the channel, I kind of used it to do more videos. Like I remember when we first made our first 20,000 ringgit on AdSense, I took that money and I bought plane tickets to go to Melbourne to film a love story together with a good friend of mine, Marianne and Ethan. And we shot this film called Unfold. It's literally just me, Reuven, two of us, and then we kind of like lobbied for anyone. I was like, hey, we're shooting this and this here for the next 2 weeks. Would anybody like to help us? And then we had this guy. He was this Indonesian student. Can't remember his name, but he had a very interesting name, something like Valentino Roscotino or Constantino, something like that. He's doing very well today. He's still in Melbourne. So the three of us just went around shooting across Melbourne, and then I came back to do a film. And next thing you know, I uploaded it, and it kind of blew up.
Was it sponsored though?
No. Oh yes, it was. It was sponsored partially actually by Cha Time
back then,
which is now T Live. So I think Brian Liu gave me he sponsored the flights. His team kind of reached out, and I wrote in actually, you know, because sometimes like, hey, you should just write in and then ask lah, right?
So you reached out.
Yeah, I just reached out to
I
reached out to a couple of brands, and most of them just didn't reply. But Cha Time was the first one to reply. Brian Liu's team. I shouldn't say Cha Time. Brian Liu's team replied. And they agreed to kind of like sponsor the flights. And then in return, we kind of had like a Cha Time placement in there. Because it was a running joke, because Cha Time was such a huge thing back then. So every video that we made was making fun of Cha Time. Yeah. So like people were just getting into bubble tea. So we had like sometimes some videos and we purposely put Cha Time inside. People think, hey, did Cha Time pay you? No lah, we just film only lah. Right? Even our first video, we made fun of the process of buying a camera, and the camera brand was Canon, and people were like, "Oh, did Canon pay you?" Oh no, we just filmed it as it is, right? So for me, it's like, oh, okay. Since we kind of like featured these brands, can I reach out to them and maybe ask them for something in return, support of gear? So Canon were very nice. They supported us by giving us gears, and Chatime were very nice. They kind of paid for the air flights, and the rest was just the money that I earned for AdSense was used for accommodation, for flights, for food. We were there for like a week and a half, and we shot a film, and I think that's one of the most proudest films I made to date. Yeah, when I look back at it, it's like, oh, this is very amateur film-ish. But back then, to me, it was like, yeah, this is like.
This is at 2015 times?
This was about 2013, 2014.
2014.
Around
so
there.
it's about 2 years, 3 years into the YouTube venture.
Yeah.
You are still doing radio at the same time.
Yeah, I was.
So how big was the team for the YouTube channel?
2 persons.
2 person, you and Ruben?
Yeah, me and Ruben. Third person, we had one more person who just basically was the sort of manager, liaison. That's about it. But in terms of the manpower, it was just me and Ruben. At first, I did the shooting, I did the writing, I did the editing, I did everything. Then when Ruben came in, we did it together, right? But he is more of a film-based guy. So I think his knowledge of film is far more better than what I'm like a layman guy who learned something on YouTube and is trying to do it on his own.
We all do.
Yeah. So Ruben is actually my wife's schoolmate classmate. Yeah, they're from Seafield. So that's why I asked my wife, like, hey, I know I have this idea to make a film. Do you know anyone who probably has a camera that I can borrow? And then she's like, oh yeah, I know of a friend. He's a friend of mine, and he does this thing called production. And I was like, oh, what's production? That's literally how I got to know him.
Okay. So how was it back then? You and Ruben, do you outsource any of your work or none, or just
No.
three-person party?
Yeah, we did
Go try
everything.
everything.
So I did most of the edits. I did all the editing, the coloring, the sound design. Everything was done by me. I didn't even understand what the term sound design was. I didn't even know what coloring was. For me, it was just I did everything. We did everything for a long time, for about a year plus 2, almost 2. Then we hired our first hire, who became our editor, our one leg kick all you know.
Yeah.
He could edit, he could help with stuff. It's like an assistant, but he does everything.
The multi-hatter.
Yeah.
The
So
initial days.
because like, in my mind was like, hey, if I could do everything, I want to hire someone who could kind of learn to do a bit of everything as well. So we had one, and then from then I think he said that I think with the first staff was like, hey, maybe it would be great that we can hire another person. Then we had another person, and then when kind of business started to grow, we started hiring. I think at that point our peak was maybe 7 people. 7?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that at that point the YouTube channel we had about maybe 7 people.
Memories?
Yeah,
Because I got 7.
very, very, very very tight team.
Yeah.
Very small, very manageable. Everybody knows everyone. Everybody's very close to everyone, which is not a bad thing, Then we just operated in that capacity. It was just optimum for us to operate in that capacity at that point in time. So all the films we did was done by a bunch of people, and headcount 7 people. Yeah, that's
Impressive.
That's some people say impressive, but I think if I would have done it differently, I think I should have outsourced it lah. But I don't think we were charging enough to warrant us to outsource. When we were trying to outsource stuff, like okay, let's hire a cinematographer, and he comes back and says, okay, my day charge is 8,000 a day. I'm like, huh?
That's half of my sponsorship.
Wow, this shoot is going to be 7 days old. That means it's like, wow, walao eh. It's like I take the client's money and I take out my own pocket to pay you more money. So no, the answer was no. But then again, I think it was just us still doing a self-discovery of how do we charge clients. It just meant that we were charging too low. And clients obviously won't tell you that, hey, you're charging too low. They'll be like, hey, pang lang zang. All right, let's go. But that's not their fault. It's a learning process.
Was it hard to really like juggle and find a sweet spot to charge? Because I know it's an ongoing struggle with inflation and really understanding what's your real market value of your products are.
Well, today, no, obviously, but when I've been doing this for almost 15 years, I kind of understand
the market.
Yeah, the market. But back then it was very difficult because like I can't possibly compare what I was doing to traditional media. Like, if you bought a TV spot, a 30-second spot, it's going to cost you like $500,000 doing prime time. I can't be charging that, So for me, it's like throughout the years of growing the YouTube channel, it was an ongoing process trying to understand, what's a good price to charge. And most of the time, I won't say we're undercharging, but we're charging, and then we're trying to manage the funds properly to make sure that we are making money so that everybody gets paid. I think like for me, it was if we were getting enough jobs, I think like maybe we could lessen the jobs and raise up the price a little bit so that we can do the jobs that we really want to do instead of trying to accept every single endorsement just because we want to survive.
At what point do you feel that, hey, there's too much job, too much sales, too much sponsorship coming in that we need to adjust our price, and can we manage or not? Do you feel at what point, like 2015, 2016-ish?
Oh, I can't remember the years, but I think at one point in time where a lot of brands were coming to work with us. And I'm like, when I was told that, we have to kind of shoot 4 sponsored short films this month. And I'm like, what? We only uploaded 1 film a month. And then all of a sudden I was uploading a film every week and it's all sponsored. And I'm like, okay. And most of the time when we kind of throw a price to the clients and they don't even negotiate, that kind of made me feel like, hey, maybe we go higher lah.
You have charged higher.
Yeah, that was when my wife came in. She quit her job and she came in and she brought in the revenue, to be honest, because she was very well versed in sponsorships. She used to work in Universal Music. So all the big celebrities that are in Malaysia, Justin Bieber, Ellie Goulding, Lady Gaga, it's all managed by her. So she sort of understood what sponsorships were like in terms of the entertainment industry. Like, what's the value to a talent? So she obviously had a very big list of clientele that she used to work with. And then she calls them and like, hey, you know what? I'm working with my husband now. You want to do videos or not? And they're like, oh, yeah lah. Why not? And that's where she brought in like a whole new area of revenue where I'm like, oh, this is possible. Yeah. And I realized that, okay, cool. That's when I start to realize that maybe I shouldn't focus on doing sales, right? Maybe I should kind of let go of one part and let my wife do all the sales. So she did all of that.
Do you focus more on the creative side of the business?
Yeah.
And was it hard to manage, like, I believe there's a line between satisfying the client versus creating what you want, right? Was it hard to manage
I think initially when I first started, I was very protective. I think it goes with any creative. Everybody very creative. I'll get very angry when the client comes and change my script. Who are you to change my script? Why do you do this? This is my story. Why would you do that? I'll be probably like very easily triggered. Like if a client comes back and says, can we edit this part out? And I'll be like telling my teams, like, go back to the client and say, no, and we're trying so hard to like tell them no. But I think when we do it enough, you realize that, to be honest, both sides need to reach like a common goal, and it's a give and take kind of thing. So I felt that that was a very big learning process. I'm trying to, number one, educate the clients of what we do. And at the same time, we understanding what the clients really want. Why are they asking this? How could we have better communication so that we can achieve what you want, not in the expense of editing and saving it in post. So I think like that took about, I think we're still, I would say right now we're pretty okay, but it's always a ongoing learning process. So yeah, never ending. But it took me a long time to really learn how to service clients. But there were some clients who were just amazing, top class. They'd be like, yeah, we know your style, do it like that. And then like, they trust me completely. One of them is Sony. It's like, I gave them a script. Like, yep, I trust you would do this. And I make the film, I show it to them, and they'd be like, whoa. Another one is Samsung. Funnily enough, like I remember when I first started working with Samsung, they were like, oh, can I have more of the product? Then after it came to a point where they came back to me and said, hey, can you take out our product? It's too hard sell. I was like, what? It's like, well, isn't this what you want? Like, no, it's too hard sell. Focus on the story. Then I'm like, oh, it's like, going back in circles. So it's a learning process. The only reason why everybody always wants to kind of do the best is because they are very unfamiliar with what was happening back then. I guess right now it's much better.
So now that you are a seasoned veteran that obviously have seen the creative side of things, are still doing it, and also have done the business side of things, probably still doing it, but probably managed largely by your wife, right?
Yeah.
What I would say that you probably be like at the top 1% when it comes to doing this in Malaysia.
I wouldn't call myself the top 1%. I remember seeing like the calendar invite you sent to me, and I was like, look at that, beneath the, behind
the 1%.
Behind the 1%. It's like, wow, I'm 1%. oh, it's a very big title to put on my name. Like, I don't think I want to declare myself like as the 1% in whatever we're doing. I didn't come into this business with a plan or I myself being an expert, knowing what I was doing. It was all trial and error.
Yep.
You know how they say that, oh, the higher the risk, the bigger the return?
Yep.
Like the little Asian self in me is like, oh, cannot take big risks. All must be safe. Oh, FD also must be like, okay, cool, FD. Only put 250,000 because 250,000 insurance. Okay, safe. But if you have high risk, yeah, the rewards are higher, but obviously the downfall is a lot higher as well. Like for me, I like to do business. I like to do something where I know I can make money. In my mind, when I can kind of formulate a way that, okay, I know this is monetizable, it'll make money, then I'll do it. I'm not the type where, hey, let's build and see what happens next. Let's continue bleeding, until we exit and get a big whale to kind of swallow our company. Because back then when I started the company, we were also, there was also a trend where a lot of people coming out to become entrepreneurs and stuff, right? I wasn't an entrepreneur. I'm not an entrepreneur. But like for me is we were constantly just problem solving to understand, okay, what's a good balance between trying to make money for yourself, for the company, pay your staff, make sure everybody's happy, make sure the client's happy. So continuous struggle to try and understand that.
To bang a lot of wall to reach where you are today.
Yeah.
And in your opinion, maybe if I were to, from my perspective, you are actually a legend in not just in radio, influencer agency, and also the creative agency. So I would say you shouldn't underestimate yourself. You are easily the top 1% when it comes to this particular field, especially creatives in Malaysia. I mean, there's a lot, but then when it comes to the top ones, there's very little. I think you probably know them very well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I feel that there are a lot of creatives out there. They were just not given the opportunity because of hierarchy. Like for example, if you join an agency, that's obviously a very top level executive creative director, and everybody below him will probably follow the vision of the executive creative director or the creative director. So, most of the time, I mean, and there's nothing wrong about that. It's just the corporate structure. As a junior, you're going in there to learn and hopefully show your strength, your worth, and then one day you'll be promoted. But for me was when I wanted to be creative, I was like 26 years old. And nobody just wanted me to nobody wanted to give me an opportunity to really show the creative side of me, of what I could do for, my company Astro at the point of time. I remember doing all of their company trip videos, and they always come to me, hey Jin, we're having a company trip this year. I want you to make a video, and I'll do it happily. But when I want to do something that is very business, for the business, then it becomes like, oh, let's do it this way. This is more safe. This is proven track record. We are a radio, we sell airtime. Let's not venture into this. Let's play it safe. Let's not challenge the system. Let's just do whatever is good. You want to do videos, that's TV. Let TV do their thing and we do our own thing. So as a young individual, you'd be like, oh, why doesn't anyone want to let me try? So for me, is in my company, I let all the young ones try. They come to me, they show me a great product, like it, I take that product and I sell it to the client.
So it's a combination of a lot of years of experience, right? So what do you think are the key mindsets or daily habits that separates the top 1% creator and entrepreneur that you are right now?
I think the expected answer is, wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym at 6, then take your meetings, get a good breakfast of eggs and blah, 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 blah. You want to know what my day-to-day was when trying to build a company? I was just staring at the wall until like 3 a.m. in the morning. Don't know what to do. Maybe watch a few YouTube videos. Watch a YouTube video talking about watches. Like, wow, look at that. It's John Mayer and Hodinky talking about watches. Then the last 1 hour is pure, before I go to sleep, before 3 a.m., it's like pure focus. Okay, what do I want to do? Okay, am I supposed to write a script now? Okay, just focus 1 hour. It's like, I may be wrong because some entrepreneurs like, what the hell is this guy talking? This guy should be focused. He should be building. But for me, because I was trying to build a creative media platform or a creative agency, I just needed a lot of space to dream. I needed a lot of space to think. I needed a lot of space to conceptualize. I need a lot of space to problem solve myself, right? To understand, okay, what if I did this? What if I did that? I need a lot of time to talk with my employees, my staff, even my wife. I needed to answer a lot of questions. I need to ask a lot of questions. I need to understand what works, what doesn't work. Really, I needed to understand the process of what it takes to make a film in the eyes of an employee who basically wrote in to join my company, who had a film background, and I need to understand, okay, what do you want, and try and understand how to build that system. So it's a lot of problem solving, a lot of trial and error, and it's a lot of just getting down to every single aspect of the business and doing everything. Like, I've done the filming, I've done the writing, I've done the editing, I've done the coloring, I've done the cold emails, I've done the client servicing, I've done the problem solvers with clients, I've done the phone calls at from 4 in the morning to 5 in the morning with a client. I've done the 72-hour shoots. I've done the frequent trips to all across the world to work with different people. I lost my equipment. I've broken my equipment. I've done breaking this. I've done that. I've done losing money. I've done making money. So you got to know every single thing. Yeah. And no single individual is going to come out as a fresh graduate knowing how to do all that. So it's a lot of learning. And once you know all of that, you will realize that the younger generation coming up will sort of, in a way, go through the same issues that you went through before. And then you'll be like, aha, I went through this before. Here's how you solve it. Yeah. And if they come back and say, no, I have a better way of solving it, and you listen. So that's my day-to-day.
So it's a lot of curiosity, problem solving,
Yeah.
and still learning. Even
And,
until
and
today.
motivations,
Mm.
Look at watch videos, like, I want this watch. And you look
That's
at your bank account, like, I can't afford this watch. Okay, what am I gonna do in order to make that amount of money so I can buy that? You know what I mean? Sometimes I do that. Really, that's how I used to do it. Like, I wanted to buy a camera. Okay,
reverse problem solving.
yeah. Okay, this camera is like $10,000. Okay, how much do I need, or how many hosting gigs do I need to do in order to achieve that?
Check with the sponsors.
Oh no, I back then it was not really chatting with sponsors. Back then I had this thinking that, okay, like my bank account was like this. When I was a fresh uni student, I probably had like maybe $800 in my savings, and my goal is very simple. Whatever it is at any point of time, my savings must have 500 ringgit. So if I have 501 ringgit, I spend 1 ringgit. If I 800 ringgit, I can spend 300 ringgit. If I 1,000 ringgit, then I spend 500 ringgit. Yeah, I followed that rule for a long time. Whatever it is, 500 ringgit must be in my bank account savings for emergency. My God.
500 is your buffer.
Yeah,
buffer
500
line.
is my buffer. Then after that, I kind of like moved that up to 1,000 ringgit when I started working. So I guess, when you want something so much, you kind of reverse engineer to see how you can get there.
So how has it evolved over time, your personal finance? Is it still the same, or, well, obviously now different level, right?
Yeah, very different now. You watch all those Instagram videos where you really work really, really hard. You'll be suffering for a few years, and then after that, you build up everything, and all of us to that one moment where you make it all back. Yeah, think I'm starting to make it all back. Think so? Yeah. It's somewhat true. And I think the way I look at money right now is a little bit different.
At what point do you see the change? Like, when you got married, when you have kids, or when was it like something needs to be done to my personal finance or budget, or the way you spend your money?
So it's funny because when I started the company, I did a lot of things, and I went through a lot of stages. When you start a company, then you don't make much, and then you be like, you doubt yourself, and after you start making a little bit of money. And then you'd be like, okay, I gotta keep this because, what if, right? There's like any emergency. Then suddenly the revenue grows a bit bigger, the profit goes a bit bigger. Oh, then you splurge on something that you've always wanted. And then like, oh, this feels good. Then after that, you'd be like, oh, can I buy another one of those things? Oh, I can. And then you work harder and then reward yourself at the end of the year. And then it's a cycle. Everything just goes bigger and bigger. So it's just never ending. But when it really changed, you gotta have a purpose in life. You gotta have a goal and a motivation. I think for me so when my wife decided to get into the business to start Aspect Ratio Studios with me, I see her go through the exact same cycle that I went through, because she's also like a business owner, and she's like growing a business. And I see her in the stages. I tell her, okay, at this stage you're gonna feel like this. Okay, you're making a bit of money. You're gonna feel like this. You're gonna feel like you want to buy something. At first, you make the money, you want to save. You like to see that money grow in your savings account, right? And it's the same thing. Like I loved seeing the money grow in the savings account. Okay, much better. Okay, don't spend so much. Keep your spending habits the same. and then grow. It's like as if you're saving up for one big payload to buy something. Yep. And then suddenly a friend comes up to me, have you ever considered investing your money? What do you mean? Like, yeah, you should put it in a fixed deposit or something. I was like, oh, yeah. My mother has always said, if she were to strike Toto, she will put everything in FD and then, live off the interest for the rest of their lives. Yeah. So for me, it's like, okay, I put it into an FD. And then when I put it into an FD, and I was like, what? The interest can pay for my car installment? Oh, sorry, I can't say pay for my car installment, but subsidize my car installment.
That's a lot already.
Well, not bad leh. Then that's where I think I kind of got down the whole rabbit hole. I was like, oh, what else can I do? What else can I do that gives me 3.5% return? Then you realize that 3.5% return is actually very, very conservative. You can go into other things like bonds, like stocks, stuff like that. But I wasn't very keen on the stocks because growing up, Asian parents like, don't buy stocks, cause stocks should fall zero, and you lose everything.
I mean, there are stocks that fall to zero.
Yeah.
But you started with a lot. I mean, before this fixed deposit thing, it was all in cash.
Yeah.
So it's just cash sitting in savings account.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you got the fixed deposit to 3%,
yeah.
Then what other assets do you go for next?
Well, for me, to be honest, at that point in time, I was just listening to a banker that comes in and tell you what to buy.
Okay.
Yeah, and then for me, it's like, oh, you look at a bond that pays you like 4%. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then it comes like, oh, this bond pays 7%. Oh, that's pretty cool. So I kind of diversify a little bit, and I was very happy with that. I was completely okay with that. It was giving me like an average of like 5 to 6% returns.
What kind of bond?
Some American bonds, called some real estate.
Okay.
Some healthcare.
Okay.
Some bank bonds. Australia, US. So I came into this point where they said, diversify your income, investments. Portfolio, yeah. Diversify your portfolio. So yeah, I just did that. Very conservative. And then, the returns are great. But for me, it was probably just to take care of your cash, your money that you work hard for. The biggest investment I realized is actually in my own business. I reinvested back into my own business, and it obviously the returns are far much better. Yeah, there. Like, you go to the bank investment, stocks and everything, the banker will tell 5 to 7% annually compounded. Wow.
Before fees.
Yeah, before fees. But if you work hard in your business, your returns could be like 20, 30%. So yeah, that's where it changed my mindset. And I think I got more into it because I wanted to preserve the hard work that I've been doing. I got more into it when I have kids.
Yep.
What can I do in order to make sure that my kids' future is very comfortable? I don't want them to go through what I went through. My mom's a government school teacher. She's a single parent. So there are a lot of things when you're young. It didn't feel like I was. My mom didn't make me feel like I was underprivileged or whatever. It didn't feel like we didn't have money. We were comfortable. And she was like, oh, you're like, you need to be grateful. You got a house. Oh, you never finish your food. You only have some children in some other country got no food. But we were happy. But when it comes to oh, mom, can I get a G-Shock? It's 100 ringgit. Oh, we can't afford it. I was like, oh, okay. And it's always like, next time you work hard, you buy yourself, lor. Next time you work hard, you buy yourself, lor. Oh, mom, can I buy this? Oh, next time you work hard, you buy yourself, lor. You know what I mean? Yeah.
How has it changed for you now that you're a parent yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Think Hazel, was it?
Yeah, that's my daughter.
Celebrated her 7th birthday.
Yeah.
So how has it changed? I'd like to dive deeper into understanding how do you prepare your kids in terms of their financial education on their side and also your end. How do you prepare for their future?
So when I give them an ice cream, I bite half of it.
You bite half? Thanks.
I think they're too young, but I think they're very well exposed to what my wife and I do.
Yeah.
They understand that we're business owners. Sometimes we explain to them on what we do, why we need to work, who do we need to speak to. They are probably too young to understand the value of money. But one way, my daughter, so there's this game called Roblox. I'm not sure if you heard of it.
Of course. You can spend money in it.
Yeah. You need to spend money on it. So for me, I make her work for her money. And her work is not doing house chores and whatever. No, it's like, okay, be disciplined. Get to, go wake up for school. Eat your dinner and stuff like that. And I'll give you screen time. Right? Or if you did something that I felt like it's commendable, you were taking care of your sister the entire time while both your parents were out working. It's like, okay, cool. I'm going to get you 100 Robux. Robux is the currency in Roblox. Huh?
Yep.
And you can buy whatever you want. I taught her that. So she understands that when she does something to help people, she gets kind of compensated. Not the right way to teach kids, but somehow or other, she played one game called Grow a Garden, which needed you to grow stuff in your garden and you can sell it for money. And she's got 59 million bucks. And I'm like, holy crap. How the hell did she do that? So then that's where I tend to go down to her level and understand that, see, this is like doing business. You grow something on your own, you make sure it grows properly, you take care of it, and then you sell it for a higher price. So hopefully that translates. Yeah.
So it teaches them how to solve problem to gain value in return.
Yes. And she did it on her own, and I'm like, oh, you're very smart. Huh? Yeah, smarter than your dad. Like, you know, she plays games and she negotiates. She comes to me and is like, what if I did this? Can I have more screen time and maybe this? And I'm like, oh, cool. This is called negotiation.
This is what mommy do for a living.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, that's great. But so beyond that, what else do you have planned for her from your end? Do you do any like trust fund or any retirement savings or this kind of stuff from your end?
I think like there were people coming up to us, oh, you want a trust fund? But obviously at this point of time, at this stage of life, my knowledge is not that far into the whole. We know what trust funds do. It's like we haven't just dabbled into it. Maybe we should, but you know, for me, it's like I don't think the time is right. We're not at that stage at that moment.
Still young.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm not really that young, but yeah, I like to say that I'm still young. But I think the goal is for them to be comfortable. I just want them to be happy. I don't need them to be the brightest student, most studious or A-level student. For me, it's like I just want them to be happy. Even if she doesn't work, I'll make enough money so that you can last your entire lifetime. Yeah. And yeah, that's what I want actually.
But wouldn't that be, just playing devil's advocate, right? Wouldn't that be counterintuitive or irony? Because like if you were to prepare a trust fund that can last her a lifetime, right? Wouldn't that prepare her to set up for failure, if that's the word to use?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
Yeah. Like we need to teach our kids the basic foundations of survival and understand and make them understand what their parents are doing. And then I think we don't really need them to understand so much about the value of money right now. I think right now our goal is to teach them the value of being kind and happiness and how to live happy. Yeah. And then when the time is right, I think like as you grow older, the mind will only accept teachings and understand teachings when you're of a certain age. I feel like the things that we teach our kids these days is, number one, to be kind, never be evil to people, never be greedy, always be willing to help another person. Like my daughter, sometimes, like when I bought her Robux on Roblox, the first thing she wanted to do was give her friend Robux. Why? Because, my friend said she got no Robux, so I want to give her Robux so that she can play together with me. And I commend her for that. Like, yeah, that's great.
She knows she's in abundance. Okay to share.
Not really. It's like she knows that she has limited, but she still wants to share with her friend, because like I teach her that happiness is best shared. Yeah, wouldn't it be cool that if you could buy this item on Roblox, and if your friend could buy it too, both of you could like share the happiness together? Yeah, isn't that more fun than you getting it and your friends are, I can't afford it, I can't, So I want them to be kind. And I'm very happy that she did that. Like if she sees someone who, like if we go out, if we see someone by the street, like has got no food, can we buy food? And I want that. I want my kids to be that. Yeah, because my mom taught me that growing up. Yeah, be kind.
And I highly respect that.
Oh, thank you.
And from your Instagram, I can see that you do spend quite a bit of time with your family.
Yes.
So, that leads me to my next question. On an average week or, your routine, right? How do you split your time between business, relationships, and also family?
I think about 2 years ago, it used to be like 70% business, 30% family. Now it's 10% business, 90% family.
Wow. A lot of change when Kaiser came out.
I wouldn't say when Keizo came out, I was still working.
Ago.
Like, to be honest, when I had my firstborn, I was still traveling around the world, New York. Like my yearly schedule would be, I'll be probably in New York in February, California in February, and then New York in October doing work. Then like I remember that one time where I was traveling so much and I came back one day and I looked at my daughter. I was like, "Wow, she grew bigger already, huh?"
Oh.
When you're with your kids on a daily basis, you don't notice the subtle changes. But when you've been away for a long time, you notice like some big changes. And then for me, it's like, oh, have I been away that long? But then that didn't change my relationship with work. I still hustle because I felt like, oh, there's still so much to grow. There's still so much to do. We're at a period where we're growing.
Yep.
What allowed me to really take a step back was my team started managing whatever I was doing and they did it better. And I was very transparent with them. I was like, okay, I think I've been doing this for quite a while now. And I told them, I was like, you know what I want? I really want to take a step back and not work so hard and I want to spend time with my kids. Sometimes I ask myself, is that a bad thing to ask for? Then they're like, know what?
Good bonus can radio.
Yeah. Then they'll be like, pay us more.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's set some systems. If there's a goal that we're all achieving in terms of revenue, if there's a profit KPI that we're all heading to, if we hit it, it's great. You guys should be compensated because you're doing it without me. So I still go in and obviously look at everything as a whole. I still make decisions. But I think I do that with the help of my team. And I think it's great. And I feel that they should be given an opportunity to really shine and see where it can go at the expense of the company.
How long did the transition took from being a almost fully business guy to now almost fully a family guy?
Ooh.
Was it hard? Years?
I think since I left radio until 2022.
Or 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 10 years. Like, all right, you know what? I kind of had enough. I'm quite happy with where I am right now. I think I don't ask for much. I don't want to sell the company. I mean, like some people have asked me before, like, oh, what's your exit strategy? I was like, what do you mean by exit strategy? He's like, oh, what's your exit plan? I was like, oh, how are you going to exit? I don't know.
I exit happily.
yeah. It's like, I want to exit happily. If I could keep the company and continue running the company, even though I'm long gone, and better yet, if my daughter wants to take over the company and run it for me, cool, right? Great. But like, if this company could continue providing for myself and for other people who wants to work in this industry, I think I'm already happy. Yeah. So yeah, it took me 10 years to kind of move out. I moved out from being too overly involved because my team always tells me, hey, you micromanage a lot. Little things also you want to say this, say that. Even though they're doing a good job, but I still have something to comment. So I'm like a client, So I'm like, okay, I hear you, But obviously, there are some things where experience still comes in and solves the problem faster than inexperience does.
Yep.
So when I'm needed, I go in, or when I spot something, I go in. But I think now they handle it very well. Yes, it sounds like I'm retiring, but no, I am involved in the business. But for me, I kind of want to see what else I can do, and I don't need to make that decision immediately. I can just take my time. Yeah, I have time now.
Is it the same for your wife? Yeah, both of you are spending like less time on the business now, or is she still hustling?
So as of last year, she was hustling, and I told her that like I remember like looking at my wife, I was like, she's a hustler. My wife is a real hustler. So my job at that point of time, I jokingly told her was I told my accountants as well, I was like, you know what my job is now? My job is to observe my wife and hire people to take away things I don't want my wife to do. So at one point that she used to handle all the data entry payments and stuff like that. So she would sit in front of the computer for 1 week, 7 days, at least 5 hours, data entry, paying all our vendors, paying all our suppliers, paying salary and everything. And then after that, I just come in to approve. Yeah. And then I'm like, I don't want you to do this. I hired a bunch of finance people. I remember the first question I asked them, hey, can you guys do data entry and schedule payments for us? Yeah, we can do that. You can? And then we were like, got such thing one. And then my wife was like, don't want lah, later they know how much we earn. Then I'm like, yeah, but what can they do? Like, we're the persons approving it on a separate account, right? Their accountants, it's their job to know numbers. See, we were that naive about running a business. So it was great because like me and my wife were literally clueless, but we were both learning. So I felt that kind of made the relationship a lot stronger because our goals were the same.
Yeah.
We wanted to make money so that our kids can have a comfortable life, so that we ourselves can have a comfortable life, so that we can once in a while treat ourselves to something that we've always dreamed of treating ourselves to, without having to be guilty. So that's what we wanted. Still a work in progress, but yeah, that's what we wanted.
So this is a personal question that I have for you, right? Is it tough to manage relationship and business at the same time? Because now your wife is like the co-CEO or CEO or whatever.
I don't know. I don't even know what we are. Sometimes it's like, okay lah, for the lack of a better title, okay lah, I'm CEO lah.
Okay.
Like my wife was also the CEO. It's
Okay.
like, you know, it's like, what are we? Like, we have to reply an email to, like,
Yep.
you know, some high level management from a client. Like, so what's my title? Last time my title was Mr. Talk a lot. Well, I can't remember what I was, but like the one who talks a lot, that kind of thing. Like, relationship with my wife. A lot of people ask this question. It's very valid because, you know, there's always the, hey, don't work with your family members. I sure argue on. But she was very clear on what she was doing. She knew what her strengths were. I knew what my strengths were. I know what her strengths are. She knows what my strengths are. She knows that I like to build stuff, and she knows I can look at everything and kind of mathematically put everything together and make a decision. And I know her strength is just like, you know, selling, building teams, building systems, training her team to work like how she works. Discipline. Her strength, her biggest strength is discipline and PR. She has really amazing PR with the clients. The clients all love her. They see her, they'll smile at her, but they look at me, then their smile die down. So, oh, she's got a resting face, you know what I mean? So she does that really, really well. And really, like when she first joined the company, the first thing that she did was manage me.
Oh.
And she got me so many, like, you know, posting jobs on my Instagram and stuff like that. I never used to do Instagram jobs, right? You know, because all the clients would be, oh, Jin must be very expensive. Then I think when my wife, you know, it's like, you know, my face on Watson's, the billboard on Watson's, it's my wife's doing.
Oh.
Yeah, she was basically selling, she was like slutting me out. But, you know, but for me, she wanted to build me. She was building me like how she built her singers when she was working in Universal
She understood
Music.
personal branding.
Yeah, she did. I mean, as much as I want to think that I understood what branding was, but she knew how to convert it into money.
And
So as long as we know each other's strengths and we were very clear about the common goals and what we were after, I think it's fine.
I mean, at some point there must be some deceptions, right? Like,
Of course.
how do we have any system to settle disputes?
I think we just talk it out, and sometimes when I try to tell them why I'm making decisions, sometimes it gets quite frustrating. And when it involves numbers, we just need to constantly just remind and understand that, okay, I'm doing this for the company's benefit, and when we understand that, oh, this actually works, that we need to trust each other. Trust is very important. Like, I don't get involved with the matters of what she handles, and she doesn't get involved in what I handle. But before we need to start handling each other's things, we built a team that can handle it for us. Yeah.
So you handle the creative side of Aspect Ratio.
So
and
I handle the business development of the entire agency. So yes, I had a creative background. I used to do creative stuff, but I handled the growth of the company. I handled the products that we can build for the company, the revenue streams that we can invest into. What team can we build? So, you know, at first we were creative based. Okay, let's do videos. Okay, let's start a production arm. Okay, let's build directors. Okay, let's sell directors. Okay, clients want a creative pitch. Okay, let's build a creative team. Let's charge for creative. Okay, we want a influencer marketing management team. Okay, let's build that. Then I saw an opportunity to basically manage talent and grow them, and I built that. So I build things, and my wife sells them. Yeah.
And how about the other part where you have the influencer agency side of the business? How has it been going on for you?
Oh, it's great. I think probably one of the best decision that we made to pivot to an agency model. Because, like, you see, right, when we first started as a YouTube channel, the goal is like, let's hit 1 million subscribers. Okay, now let's hit 10 million subscribers. Let's be the most popular channel ever. Because you know why? Popularity means more money. That's never the case. A lot of people has this thinking that, oh, once you're more popular, once you're famous already, you know, you can make a lot of money. Not always the case. You can be the most popular person in the world, but if you didn't know how to monetize yourself, you are nowhere close to other people who are making millions, stuff like that. Some of the biggest billionaires in the world are so low-key. They don't need to be popular also, right?
True.
But for me, it was kind of like learning a lot of things in the process of growing a business, you know. Disagreements with my partner then, Ruben. So he had like completely different views of how we should grow, right? And for me, it's two stubborn heads trying to, I want this. And then there's not much communications, but the thing is, we were not built to run a company. We were both working for other people. Then suddenly we are like forced to run a company. Oh, I think it's this way. Then you have that kind of friction. So you learn from that as well.
I mean, from a outsider's perspective, running an influencer agency, wow, as you mentioned just now, profitable is profitable.
It is profitable
And-
because let me tell you how that
Uh-huh.
worked. Okay, to be honest, right, we never actually wanted to run an influencer agency one. So when we did a YouTube channel, right, my wife came in to help do sales for the YouTube channel. Okay, great. She was doing an amazing job back then. Then we realized that every single talent that we use on our channel, right, wow, after they appeared on the channel or appeared on a video, somehow they would grow a following. 10,000 views, 20,000 followers, then suddenly 50,000 followers. Then I was like, I told my wife, hey, you want to sign them so that we can monetize them too. Because like, yeah, they got followers, but they're not monetizing themselves. So we monetize them lah. Then I'm like, okay, cool. So we did that. We signed one talent. I think first talent was Josephine. Then after that, Brandon, then Arvin Kumar. And she was just managing 3 of them only. Just 3 of them. Like, oh, very nice, you know? And for me, it's like, okay, we take a percentage cut of the sales. That's good enough. And we were really happy because you know why we were happy? Because, this is much better than our regular paycheck from corporate. We were making more than corporate. Enough lah. I mean, why you want to ask so much, right? And then after that, we grew that portfolio to 5 talents. So after that, my wife was single-handedly managing 5 talents. She handled their negotiations. She handled their payments. She handled their scheduling. She handled everything from top to bottom or when they need to post. She handled the back and forth with clients. Everything. She was like their managers. All while still trying to sell media spots on the YouTube channel. And then until one day, I went for a client meeting and the client came to, I was sitting down with a client and the client said, yeah, Jin, I love your 5 talents. I love them. Okay? I'll take your 5 talents, but I need 40. Can you make that happen? And I'm like, no, cannot. The client just kept quiet for a while. I know you can. You make it happen lah. And I'm like, okay. And I went back and I told my wife, we need to find 40 people. She said, what the hell are you doing? Where are we going to find 40 people? Then I'm like, never mind, I'll call. And I just called all the talents I used to work with. Hey, no, we got this campaign. You want to know? I remember that we were sitting down, writing down on a piece of paper, all talents, writing their rates. And then we were like, okay, we know their rates already. How much should we charge client? Then we were like, I don't know. No, we mark out 5%. Okay, you know? And then when we did that, it's like, oh, okay. Not bad leh. That's quite cool. And then like the same client came back again. Okay, I want the same thing. And it was just the both of us doing it. Until she was pregnant. And I realized that, okay, we cannot be doing this when you're pregnant. She just gave, my wife gave birth. 3 hours after 5 hours after the C-section, she went back to her laptop. Yeah.
Hustler.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I need to start hiring people to help her. And that's why I hired to help her. She was very rigid. She didn't want anyone else meddling with her numbers. But I hired a few people to start with her, and it was the best decision ever. She thought, yeah.
The start is always the hardest.
Yeah, it is. Because we were always so stubborn. We are so afraid. People cannot see this. You know? But today the company is very transparent with our staff, like especially with higher management.
Yeah.
What's the company goal? What's our revenue KPIs and after, and they understand why we need to hit that. As long as you explain to them, just because the company makes 1 million, are you supposed to think that the staff is going to come? Oh, you make 1 million Okay lah, 1/2 million No staff is going to do that Yeah, we can't look down on them and think that they are that greedy right? If they are, then okay, I don't hire these people. But when they're transparent about everything, right? The goal is very similar.
So would you think that Aspect Ratio Studios is now a well-oiled machine by its own now?
Oh yeah, it's running on its own. And I'm very surprised that happened. This happened. That's even happening. Sometimes I'm asking myself, oh, what happened? What did I do?
What went right?
Yeah, because I don't know. And I talked to my team now. Are you guys okay? Yeah, we're fine. Okay.
Don't come to office, boss.
Yeah, I was like, am I okay to go out and do my own thing? Yeah. I mean, I still go over meetings, right? For me, I still bring in new leads. Then sometimes I remember talking to some of my team. I call them once in a while. I'll text them one. I have a group chat with them. Then I'll PM site to be, hey, how's everything? Okay. Yeah, okay. Sure. Do I need to come on set? Do I need to be there? No need. Or then you'll be like, you sure? Because I remember at one point in time, I had to be everywhere. Because when we were shooting on set, I need to be there to solve a problem. A client's not happy. I had to go pacify the client. Or if an agency was being really difficult, I had to go there and try to push back and stuff like that. I had to go there. But I realized that when I let them do these things, they will learn how to win. They will learn how to solve problems. And that's the best thing ever. You need to allow them to try. And if they can't do it, they will come and tell you, I can't do this. Okay, understand. What are you good at? They will already know my strength is this. I will do this well for you, but don't put me this. I do well at producing. Don't put me client servicing because I'm very shy to talk to client. Okay, understand. I'll hire somebody else to manage
Play
the
to
client.
their strength. And are they like, you have like what, 50 plus people now?
I have full-time staff 40
40?
plus my talents that we sign about maybe 53. Yeah, 53 people around there.
Mostly creatives now.
No, I think I have my creative team right now is about 10 people.
Oh, okay.
My marketing client servicing side is about 3 people. Then my execution is about 20 plus people. Then production and editors and everything. I don't know. Actually, to be honest, I don't know the exact number of what we have.
Okay.
Right, yeah, about there.
But when you say execution, what do you mean?
When we do campaign executions, we have a team that executes the
Writers, designers?
No, so like if we do influencer campaigns, you need a team to execute the campaigns. Yeah, so
okay.
the ones who source for the talents to execute the campaigns, to make sure that the talents are doing they're creating according to the client's brief and stuff like that. So we have people that execute that.
Sounds like a managing team.
Yes. Campaign.
Manager,
So it's a
account manager.
campaign execution team.
Campaign execution team.
Yeah.
Okay. It seems like the creatives team are quite small in that sense.
Yeah.
Do you outsource any creative work?
No.
No, none at all.
No.
So it's all mainly managed by that 10 people.
Yes. Yeah.
Quite senior.
They're quite. Some of them have been with me for 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah. They're from the start, from the whole YouTube channel to pivoting to the agency model. I think they've been with me for 9 years. 10, and then we're still hiring. But for me, I don't want to rush into hiring.
Yep.
I want to hire someone that they can work with. Yeah. I don't just want to hire just to meet the numbers. I don't want to hire to solve the workload problem. I want to hire someone that brings value to the already working team that works well.
See, I want to touch on a bit because there's this saying going on around, right? They say that graphic designers or creatives in general, right, are doomed because of AI. Like they are gonna be replaced by AI. And even without AI, their value per se compared to a lot of other careers are lower in general, especially in Malaysia. Right. So what do you have? Do you agree on that?
We use AI, but we don't replace the jobs of designers. I'll tell the designer, use this to help you. What do you need to do faster? Use AI. I don't think look, AI is a 50-50 thing. It's a by chance thing. Put in a prompt, hopefully you get something you like. But when you are in the vision of the designer, the designer has full control of what they want. And you can sell the designer's vision to the client. You can't sell AI to the client.
Yep.
If you sell AI to the client will be like, okay, we're at the mercy of what the prompt comes out. That means you're at the mercy of the prompt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, a lot of people tend to say, oh, AI, how can we use AI to replace talent? Yeah, I totally agree. You shouldn't replace human talent. Like, who created AI? Humans did, right? And I always believe that every single brain is unique on its own. Two creatives will not come up with, like, draw me a duck. Two creatives are going to draw two different ducks. As the creative director or as the person who runs the company, my goal is to spot great talents. One day I may be out for a meeting or I may be out for an event and I come across this guy who's a really good illustrator. It's like, oh my God, I love your style. And as a person who runs a business, I kind of know how I can bring your style and partner it with the brand and build something great. So that's my job, to spot talent like that. So I don't think AI is going to replace. AI is going to help a lot of things move a lot faster, right? Is it going to replace jobs? Maybe certain jobs. But creative, to be honest, there is no fixed pathway for creative. Creative is endless, bro. Okay, like for example, like if you go to paintings, right? One person paints half the canvas yellow, half the canvas blue, and sells it for $53 million, and you'd be like, what the hell? Well, yeah, I know they use it a lot of money, but
The banana.
yeah. Is that the banana is like, for me, it's like, who would pay a few million for a banana duct tape to a freaking canvas? But there's some person out there who would pay that money. Whether it's laundering money or not or whatever, okay? You always need to be at the right place that values you. And then I believe something will happen. Yeah. This because you go to this one place and the person says that, oh, your creative is bad.
Yep.
I don't like your visionary. Doesn't mean that this person represents the entire industry. You probably go to another place like, oh my God, I love this, right? Just like how you read this on Instagram. There's a story I read, like, This grandfather gave his grandson a very antique watch. Then, I want you to go to 3 different places to sell this. He goes to the pawn shop and says, oh, you want an antique watch? I'll give you $5 for it. And then he goes to another place. Okay, I'll give you $500 for it. But when he goes to a museum, I'll offer you $500,000 for it because this is an antique piece and this is basically from World War I, blah, 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 blah. So at the right, you will be valued at the right place. So you need to be at the right place to be valued. So I always believe that.
So AI just pressures you to be at the right place much faster in that sense. Because if you don't keep up the pace, then you're outpaced by AI. Can I say that?
No. I don't think AI will outpace everyone. Like, look, at the end of the day, our creatives uses AI. Don't get me wrong. I ask every one of my creative. I ask them the question: how can AI help you? Tell me. Oh, it makes the workflow a lot faster. If it's a lot faster, what else can I do? Oh, we can use AI to paint a picture in the client's head, really sample picture. But at the end of the day, we will control the outcome. Yeah, and to be honest, there's a fine line in creating something by human and creating something by AI. You can see the robotic, soulless nature of AI creation. But when somebody really puts their whole heart and soul trying to tell a story, you can feel it, you can see it. Yeah.
So if you could say one thing to aspiring creatives, right, what would that be?
Don't look down on yourself. I feel like a lot of people don't know this, but it took me 7 years before I hit my first 100,000 views. But just because I did not hit my first 100,000 views on YouTube, does that mean I'm not creative? No, what? Not really. But the practice of trying to make videos for the past 7 years before hitting my 100,000 views was what people kind of leave out. It's the practice. It's the continuous learning. It's the trial and error. It's the constant sharing with your friends. It's the constant feedback of that past 7 years and continuing from the past 7 years that continuously basically grows you as an individual to make you better yourselves. As a creative, as a skilled worker, as a personality, as a husband, as a father, as a friend, you are continuously growing. You are at different stages at your different point of life. And at different stages of your life, you need to understand that, okay, and it's just like Taylor Swift. I'm at my this era. I'm at my that era. What have I learned? They say that old people always have a lot of wisdom. Yeah, it's true because they've gone through so much, right? So when you are young and you are at your era at that point in time and you feel like the whole world is raining down on you right now, don't give up. And don't say that, this is the end, I give up already. No, it's not. It's not. You have not reached that point of time yet to shine. If you give up, then what's the point?
So Jin, one last question. If you could change one thing in the past, what would it be?
No, I wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything. There's nothing to change. I feel like, I would go back and tell myself, hey, buy a Bitcoin when it was at $1. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't change a thing. Even if I go back and change something, fast forward to this day, I will tell you that I'll go back and change something else. You will continuously change. Nobody is satisfied. Everybody's constantly growing, constantly learning. I wouldn't change a thing, to be honest, because whatever I've learned or grown up to be learning, it kind of made me who I am today. So it's like, there's no point changing anything. Accept it.
It's the journey that makes you.
Yeah, it is. Don't regret. Yeah, you will have regrets. But that regrets is just for you to should have done this. Okay, cool. Understand. Let's move on. And that's what I've learned from my team. It's like, oh yeah, this could have been done better. All right, cool. Let's do better the next. Yeah. Don't look down on yourself just because you didn't do the best you could here. Yeah, we missed this out. Okay, do better next. Don't go back and fix it. Just do better next. And then show people that you're improving. It doesn't have to be substantial, your improvement. If you're constantly improving, I feel like, if you improve just 0.5% every day, can you imagine how much you improve in a year? Yeah. People always miss that out. They always want instant gratification. They want instant validation. That's the thing. I think we grew up in an era where everything is instant. You post up a photo, 1,000 likes. Oh my God, yeah. Then next day you post up 50 likes. Hey, what's going on? Hide my likes. That's already a clear explanation that if you look at your timeline and you post 10 photos, not all photos are going to perform the same way. Not all 10 reels are going to perform the same way. What does it tell you? It doesn't go up in a straight line. There are ups and downs. Yeah, people tend not to say that. They always a good product is a product that gets 5,000 likes. You know what I mean? So that's the That's the sad part of it, lah.